Welcome to episode 4 of the movie Lighthouse, shining a light through the fog of film. My name's James.
I'm Nico.
I'm Wyndham.
I'm Laurie.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Great to see you all again.
Yeah, it's nice to be back.
Yeah, I've missed you terribly.
Everyone all right?
Great, thank you. Yeah, very good.
I'm good. I've come to the conclusion fish supper is not my supper of choice.
But it
I
was today.
don't think it's the chips. I'm not a massive fan of chips, but I think it's the fish. It doesn't sit right with me. But I'm fine. I've got over it now.
That sounded like it was on its way back.
When was that? Was that last night?
Looking at Nico, you're looking about an hour and a half ago.
Ah, I see. So you're
Was that a
basically-
late lunch?
We're going to have to
early
rescue
supper?
you halfway through this podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe clear up the flying.
No, look, it's really not that bad. But I'm just saying, it just doesn't sit with me. It's not my supper of choice.
Right.
So we're going highbrow this year then, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect.
There's a very nice Chinese just round the corner from here. I'm going to go there afterwards if anybody wants to join me.
You look very brown.
I went on holiday to Cyprus.
Oh, that might be it.
Yeah. And I haven't been using a sunbed at all. It's nothing to do with the sunbed.
Well, it looks
That's
very
just
natural.
for my vitamin D.
Yeah, it
I've
looks
been on
very
holiday.
Going to Malta.
I've deliberately been eating carrots every day, or in the weekdays at work.
Is that... Well, I was going to say, I didn't want to mention the orange.
With the purpose of going a little bit orange.
Hey guys,
Trumping up a little bit.
should we talk about some films?
Yes!
Shall we?
Yes.
I mean, I love
That's why
the
we're here.
food news, but let's talk about some films. Alright, so should we start off with a little bit of news?
Actually, I've got something I'd like to start off with.
Oh,
today.
brilliant.
So, anyone who listened to the 12 Days of Christmas will remember that the first one, James sprung some Christmas presents on us that we were ill-prepared for to reciprocate. However, time is a wonderful healer. So if you like to look over your right-hand shoulder, above Fight Club,
Wow.
there is a Merry Christmas, James.
Oh, Merry
Thank you
Christmas,
very much,
James.
guys. I wasn't expecting this at all. That didn't sound genuine, but I wasn't. Right, let's have a look. Phantom of the Paradise.
Phantom of the Paradise. That's right up your street, boy.
I think I've heard about this film.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
You're going to love it.
What's it about?
Basically about a composer that gets properly done over in the most heinous way, like awful to abhorrent to this is ridiculous, and essentially sells the devil owns him at the end of it, and he's making this
ruin the end.
huge opera throughout it. It's a musical.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys.
fantasy.
I had a look at the trailer on YouTube, and it's special.
It's a
Brilliant.
great film.
It
To all
looks
you
like
listeners
a
out there, The Phantom of the Paradise. Lucky James.
Ah, brilliant. Thanks.
It does look terrifying.
Oh, I can't wait. Well, I'll let you know how that goes for next time.
Perfect.
All right, so I've got a bit of news. I went to see one of the most amazing things I've ever seen the other night. It was at the Soho Theatre, and it was called The Elvis Dead. All right, and I think we should all go. But it didn't start till like 11:30 at night. So
This is a play, right?
I've had a few drinks, so
You can't remember.
no, I remember it perfectly. But it was all like
It was something. It was a play. It was a film.
no,
It was a
a
book.
play.
A musical.
Was it a
I
piss
think it was a
about?
song.
It was a perfect storm of an evening because me and my friend Claude were going to go and see this, but it wasn't until 11:30. So she came around earlier, and other friends of ours, Jim and Chloe, were there. So we all started drinking, and we got really, really drunk, and we weren't going to go. And then at 11 o'clock, I went, or quarter to 11, I just went, let's go. So I got an Uber, and we all jumped into the Uber. We got there, we walked through the door, got drinks, were a bit riotous, sat down, and it started. And it was one guy dressed as Elvis, but also as Ash from The Evil Dead.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And he performed the whole of The Evil Dead through the medium of Elvis songs.
Wow.
The medium of
That's
Elvis songs.
So, for example, the bit where the mother is under the trapdoor in the house.
Yeah.
She looks like an angel, but she's the devil in disguise. It was brilliant. It was brilliant, and we should all definitely go see it.
Should we watch it drunk? Could that...
Yes. No,
It
I think
sounds like you
it's
have
much
to.
better if you
Okay.
watch it drunk. Yeah, but that is my recommendation. The Elvis Dead, and I think he's playing at the Soho Theatre, and I think he won some awards at Edinburgh as well.
Oh, right.
Brilliant.
Cool.
Yeah.
That does sound like kind of an Edinburgh-born kind of gig, actually.
It's very good.
Is the Elvis good? Is he good at doing Elvis? So it all comes
But he
together.
also looks just like the guy from The Evil Dead.
Brilliant.
So, like when there's a bit in The Evil Dead when he gets blood all over his face, and it's like streaky lines down his face. It looks just like the movie. I was very drunk.
And were you wearing your glasses?
Yeah, I was, but I don't know if they continue to be working.
They were streaks of blood as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so maybe we'll go and see it. Anyone got any news? Anyone see League of Gentlemen over Christmas?
I did.
Yes. Yeah.
I did. I've still got the last episode to go, though, but I am so impressed. It's so great. They are doing just kind of the same thing again, but it's such great quality. It's obviously...
But are they doing the same thing again, or have they moved on? Because they've addressed, like, obviously Babs Cabs, you know, Barbara, the transgender. They've brought that all up to date, haven't
And the
they?
whole where the shop used to be as well. There's lots of kind of reminiscing and, you know, like these days will never come again.
Yeah.
You know, which is kind of a bit like them reminiscing about their own heyday.
Yeah.
You know, that they've had that and now they're off doing other things. Does it make you laugh though? Did anyone?
Yes.
You
Yes.
did? Okay, because
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but I didn't at any point laugh out loud.
Not even
which-
when Tubbs had the iPhone. And that,
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah,
Tubbs,
exactly. It is funny. I'm not going to say it's not funny, but I do remember laughing out loud at the original series. You know, actually laughing out loud. Sitting in a room on your own laughing is quite an unusual thing to do. And I was watching this with Jade. We both going, it's brilliant, but it doesn't make us laugh.
I was laughing.
I was laughing out loud on the first one. I remember when I first watched it.
Mm.
Partly, I've never seen anything quite as bizarre as it, and it was almost. I was watching it with a friend of mine, and almost that nervous laughter as this is weird. But you're right. I don't think I laughed out loud at this kind of 10 years on or whatever.
I thought the
But
way
it
they
was
layered it. I
fantastic.
mean, I thought it gave everybody who was really into it 20 years ago everything they wanted and a little bit more. So, like little bits, like there's a bit where Pop is back and then it goes to the radio and it's a shipping forecast and Pamela D.
Oh yeah, she's the forecaster.
I thought it was brilliant. But
it's good.
There we go. Right, and we're going
boys. I haven't seen any under number 9 though. They've started airing that now, haven't they? Number 9.
Oh yeah, I watched the first one. Didn't like it very much.
That's so good.
But we'll see. I think they were trying to do it in. I think it was in iambic pentameter,
which is.
no, that's a limerick.
Oh, that's a lyric, isn't it? Yeah.
It's how Shakespeare writes all these.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
But there we
Well,
go.
you know, whatever keeps them going. They love a bit of that though, don't they? A little bit of messing around. They did that. I think it was the second series of number 9. They did the. Rope by Alfred Hitchcock. Apparently it was all shot in one scene. But they did that episode where the whole episode is all one continuous scene.
Really like
which
that.
really, really works. They obviously like messing around
I
with...
think they did that in Psychoville.
Ah, you're absolutely right. It's Psychoville.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But I like those guys, so I thought they did a good job. We're also going to talk about Star Wars, but not today.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to get back together and just do a little Star Wars thing because I think.
Is that your way of trying to stop us from overrunning this talk by just going on about Star Wars?
Yeah, absolutely, because it'll just go on and on and on.
So can we not discuss Star Wars?
Not at all.
This is completely.
Not
if we talk about it, it'll be censored.
All it'll be wiped.
Even if we want to compare, no, just don't mention it.
And I just wanted to do a couple of quick film reviews. If anyone else has got any, you can talk about it. I went to see Jumanji.
Oh yeah,
I
we went to that
love
as well.
Jumanji.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Did you see it with? No. Oh no, you made laugh. But I took my nieces, and it's one of my favourite films of the year.
I'm a big fan of Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah, he's great, isn't he?
actor.
He's so good. I kind of want to sort of slag him off and say, I was out of wrestling and big beefcake and all. Fantastic. Really great comic timing. Sorry, I'm completely interrupting you.
No, that's fine.
Great comic timing. The relationship between him and Jack Black, who is a a preppy girl who fancies him, who's transferred into the body of a fat middle-aged man.
Oh, I was going to
So,
say,
you know,
Jack Black is
Yeah,
in.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
okay.
It's
the premise is it's a video game now.
Yeah.
Jumanji update. You see Jumanji update itself into a video game, and then the 4 characters who are all like school age get transposed into the video game. Transported, and they all become players. So they don't know they've chosen their players, but they don't know who they are. So, like you say, the 16, 17-year-old high school.
Yeah.
What do they call them?
Cheerleading, kind of. She's kind of very much the it girl, isn't she? She's really cool, and everyone fancies her. And
Now she's
suddenly,
got big every ball.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I knew my character was going to be curvy, but this is disgusting.
But I thought everyone was brilliant. And it was a really good story.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
It stands up to the update then.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
It didn't
I
get
think I liked it better than the first one, to be honest.
I feel a bit bad now because my boy was like, "Oh, Jumanji's on Jumanji." I was like, "Yeah, whatever. Star Wars is this way." kind of thing.
Well, it's still on. You can still go.
On.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'll treat him.
Yeah, he'll love it.
Yeah.
He'll love it.
Because
And you will too.
I made your boy watch the first Jumanji.
You did.
Yeah, and he was really nervous at the whole thing. He's going, yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Yeah, it's fine.
I think it might be because he saw Athora, I think it's called. Which is more
Zethora.
Like Zethora, that's it.
Zethora.
Oh, right.
Just saying.
Was
There's
that
some sort of like scary bits in that.
was that Jumanji in space?
Yeah.
Pretty
Right.
much, yeah. And I think that scared him. Well, peppered his,
Yeah.
his tensions at certain points. He was probably expecting that in Jumanji or something. But cool, yeah, I'll go.
And I saw The Visit. Has anyone seen The Visit?
No.
It's an M. Night Shyamalan film.
No.
Okay, it's on Netflix. Check
Wait.
it out. It's brilliant.
I
Is
think
it?
I have seen it. Give us the premise.
Right, it's found footage. So it's a found footage. So these 2 kids go
Oh,
to
I
stay with
have
their
seen
grandparents.
it. Yeah, I have seen
And I
it.
don't want to give anything away, but maybe I loved it.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
the boy reminds me of kind of Jonathan Ross in a way, but the boy is
Young
very...
Jonathan Ross.
Yeah. Very funny. Some great twists, some good creepy stuff. The grandmother's wonderfully creepy at certain
Yeah, but we're not
points.
going to give anything
We're not going to
away.
give anything away. But
Right.
yeah, it's fun. It's kind of junk. Saturday night junk.
Yeah, I loved it.
Just on the
And
subject.
we watched it.
Together.
Yeah, we did. Because I watched it and then I got all of you lot to watch it.
That's
And Deborah,
right.
And Deborah kept saying, this is very good. And I was like, it's brilliant. And yeah.
You obviously come round a lot.
Yeah.
Just on the subject of Netflix, because they're commissioning their own films now, and it's
Yeah.
they're now a major player in movie production as much as anything else. Did anybody watch The Babysitter? Has anybody seen The Babysitter? It's a kind of a Mickey take of the genre of horror films, and I think it's particularly parodying the period of horror films that maybe we grew up with, and it's great fun. I'd recommend it to everybody. It's not. I'm not going to say it's a brilliant film, but it's really good fun, and it's very silly.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it immensely. So
I'm going to
if
watch
you've got
that.
Netflix,
So we've got a
check
bit of
out
homework
The
for next
Babysitter.
week.
Yeah.
All right, so should we get on to the main feature?
Let's do it.
Lighthouse.
All right, so we chose 1966. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about 1966 for
please do.
context.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, in the news, race riots in Atlanta and Black Power became a significant factor in American politics.
Black Power, man.
500,000 troops from the US in Vietnam. Barbados achieved independence.
Well done,
And
Barbados.
England defeats Germany to win the 1966 World Cup. And we've never stopped going on about it since.
Well, we're all big football fans around here.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Huge.
something we have in common, actually. I
Yeah,
noticed that. Yeah.
Waiting for
This,
our World
this
Cup
must be one of the
special.
only 4 situations in the country you get 4 blokes in one room talking about 66 and no one cheered. No one went, yes, get to do more stuff, or anything like that. It was just like, yeah, all right, okay.
So mini skirts were in height of fashion.
Yes.
Yes,
But-
get in there, my son.
No.
Bonanza was dominating TV, and Star Trek's started. First episode of Star Trek.
Oh, great.
Is that right?
Yeah. And in music, Revolver was the album of the year, but also Beach Boys released Pet Sounds.
Oh, my
So you've
goodness.
also got Bob Dylan. Was it?
Yeah,
Blonde on
I,
Blonde?
I thought I'd just do 2, but
Oh, right, okay.
well done, Nico. For your,
we talked about this.
Because
Blonde on Blonde's your favourite album of all time, and Pet Sounds is mine.
Yeah,
I think Pet Sounds is my favourite.
and mine's Revolver.
Well, there we are. Look at that.
Yeah,
What a year. What a beautiful, ripe,
Okay.
conking year.
And Buster Keaton and Walt Disney died in this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Saw
And
a thing on Buster Keaton, an absolute genius, a work powerhouse, genius, talented, amazing, visionary, gorgeous man.
great.
Essentially, yeah, but he just ends up like, just doing like little kids' parties.
You
and
never
stuff
know, we
like
might
that.
get to cover him one day.
But anyway, yeah, Buster Keaton.
And some of the top grossing films, The Bible was the biggest grossing film. The Bible in the Beginning. I don't know if they did the sequel, but it grossed $35 million.
For Bible too.
And Hawaii was big, and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. So there we go. So before we talk about the film that we chose, I thought we'd just spend a couple of minutes each talking about the films that got away.
Yes.
All right, so I chose Dalek Invasion Earth, which I think is 20 or 50, which was probably less camp than Fahrenheit 451, in my opinion. But it had Peter Cushing starring as a doctor, even though Patrick Troughton was appearing on TV at the time. It was almost like an independent thing from the BBC. So they had certain trademarks that they could use. So they could use the word TARDIS, but they called it TARDIS, not the TARDIS. But inside, they could have the police box, but they couldn't have any of the design concepts from inside. So it looks absolutely completely different. You can have the Daleks, but you can have the music.
I hope they were allowed to have the concept that it's larger on the inside than the outside, because
yeah.
otherwise that would be really funny. Every time they're travelling around, it's actually smaller on the inside.
Absolutely, and he wasn't like much of a mystery. He was just like an old inventor. But Peter Cushing did a very good job of it, and that one, in my opinion, was a lot better than the first one, the Dalek film. And they were going to make another one called The Chase, but it didn't gross enough in the box office, so it got canned. And the first
Peter Cushing,
No
the
future.
Doctor, that's great.
Yeah,
I remember, I've never seen it all the way through, but I remember us being, in that day and age, you used to have these amazing backdrop paintings and stuff like that. And I think you see London all in fire and all destruction, and these Daleks going across it. It's an amazing image. And then you've got Peter Cushing in velvet, in scarlet velvet or whatever. It looks great.
It was brilliant, and it was taken from. They did a series of it on TV in 1964
of the same story.
Exactly. They updated the story a bit, but more or less the same story. Yeah. So there you go. Who did? What did other people choose?
I chose Kill Baby Kill. No, that's a completely different film. That's a Russ Myers film about girls in cars. Kill Baby Kill by Mario Bava. It's an old kind of sort of gothic tale of this guy turning up to this town, and there's this malevolent ghost going around kind of killing people mysteriously, and it slowly unfolds what could this child ghost appearing at windows killing people could be. And you've got witchcraft and beautiful lighting and really surreal kind of moments, like I was touching on. It influenced, by the looks of things, a lot of stuff in Twin Peaks.
Okay.
And a lot of Dario Argento stuff, like Suspiria, that whole kind of witch kind of stuff that he has going on. It's just a really good film.
Brilliant. And what did you choose? Do you remember?
Yeah, he chose Fahrenheit.
Right. So
he nominated Fahrenheit 451 that I was choosing, so I didn't research the film.
Yeah. But just to say, that year, there's other shout-outs, aren't there, of that year?
Oh, Fantastic Voyage. We should have...
Yes.
I was going to choose Fantastic Voyage, but I thought everyone else would choose Dalek Invasion of Earth. so I left it. But
The Good, Bad and the Ugly came out that year.
Oh, did it?
That's a monster film.
Yeah, but does it fall into our remit? Have we got a remit anymore?
Can it be cult?
I suppose it was good enough. Anyway, right, well, let's move on. So we're going to play a quick clip of the film.
Okay.
And then we're going to hear a bit more about it. We'll get into it. All right?
Great.
Is it true that a long time ago, firemen used to put out fires and not burn books?
Oh, really, your uncle is right. You are light in the head. Put fires out. Who told you that?
Oh, I don't know, someone, but is it true? Did they?
Oh, what a strange idea.
Tell me, that number you all wear, what's it mean?
Oh, Fahrenheit 451.
Why 451 rather than 813 or 121?
Fahrenheit
or what-
451 is the temperature at which book paper catches fire and starts to burn.
Film this month is Fahrenheit 451, and I picked it because I read the book ages ago, and there's some really interesting themes in it. I've not seen the film before, but released in November '66. It's a Francois Truffaut directed film.
Yeah.
Box office 1.5 million apparently, which seems, we'll get into that, but it seems a bit high.
Well, especially seeing as it probably took, £500 to make.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess the notable actors in it, Julie Christie actually has two parts in it, Oscar Werner and Cyril Cusack. One of the interesting things is for the Oscar Werner role, he plays Guy Montag. There were a string of name a famous actor from the 60s. They were slated for this film and then dropped out. And this guy apparently caused issues for our friend Truffaut during the direction of it.
What sort of
Are you going
issues?
to divulge?
Just a lot of conflict in there. They didn't have a mutual view of how this film should.
I did think he was an odd choice as the leading man.
I did.
I loved him.
So before we get into that, I'll get a quick synopsis.
Yeah.
The film is about a future America where books are banned, and to kind of police that, firemen, instead of now putting out fires, they now set fires. It's very kind of like the sort of, it draws a little bit on that kind of Nazi movement where neighbours are informing on neighbours, and then the firemen come round, burn the books, burn the house down, potentially burn the owner of the house. People are arrested, people disappear, and the main character, Guy Montag, is quite a happy fireman. He's happily setting fire to stuff, and then he starts questioning, actually, but what do the books say? Why are we burning them? Why are we being kept from them? And the story is really about his departure from the party line around, yes, literature should be banned. He starts reading books. He then starts challenging his wife and her friends, and eventually he gets found out, caught, and in the process of being arrested, he runs away to a sect in the woods.
To become a book.
To become a book, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it ends up...
Did you say America?
Yes.
That was America.
In the book.
In the book.
The book.
Okay.
In the book
All right,
it
so let's
is-
get to the film then. What do we think of it? First thoughts.
You've read it as well, haven't you?
A long time ago.
Yeah.
So, but the film, I wasn't really enjoying it while I was watching it, and I felt that there was something. It was kind of slow, and then I kind of had to remind myself, mate, this was filmed a long time ago. Science fiction at the time was not trying to make the kind of points that this is trying to make. Actually, the points it's trying to make about how people are keeping things simple and dumb to kind of make a society that's easier to manage. It's less complex literature and more X Factor. And I love this scene where Julie Christie's long-haired character, the wife, I've forgotten the name of the character. Linda.
What do you think,
Yes.
Linda?
What do you think, Linda? Exactly. That she gets to get involved in this very simple moral dilemma. Yes, that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, and that's us voting on the X Factor.
Isn't it?
But
Isn't it?
the dialogue is around, well, maybe we'll put Derek and Susan in the green bedroom, and then we can put Peter and Barbara in the green
Yeah.
bedroom.
What
Linda,
do you think?
What do you think? Yes, I think that's the right thing to do. Well done, Linda.
Yes.
If Linda thinks it's the right thing, it must be.
Yeah, so all the very simple black and white morality of it, and it's like, if people aren't involved in more complicated ideas with lots of people in, like you would get in books, then they're going to be very simple and straightforward. And of course, they've got to take all these drugs to keep in this calm and manageable state. And so, in some ways, okay, there are lots of different opinions on, say, Twitter, but there are definite things where this is the right thing to think and this is the wrong thing to think, and there's no kind of grey areas there. And if you say this, you're a bad person and you're evil. And so we've kind of got a more modern version of that that's more complicated and messy. However, it is the same. So in some ways, this very dated looking film, if you took the slowness away from it, it does say something just right for now. So it took me a while to really get into that aspect of it. But I was not at all unhappy at having spent that time to watch it.
Okay.
Look, because you haven't read it, have you, Laurie?
I haven't read it.
So what do you? I have quite.
An initial first
Okay.
thought, so boom, it comes on. I'm excited. It's a Truffaut film, and I know I should have put some tie him in for my truth because he worked a lot with Goddard and he was a bit of a, he's done some cracking films. I have seen Jules at Jim or whatever it is, who our Montag actor guy was in. So they've worked together. Right. I think probably on quite a number of films. So I'm surprised to see that they actually did come to, or hear that they've come to Loggerheads when they were making it. But anyway, so it pops up, and you don't have credits, do you? You have,
I really like that.
So and so is playing Montag. Dubba Dab is playing.
I have to check my settings on on the DVD player. Is that right? Or
so they
it was
vanished
like a theatre intro, wasn't it? Kind of speakers telling you.
Yeah, it's great. So you don't see any words, and you just see these different wonderful different coloured shots of telephone aerials.
TV aerials.
Yeah.
Every
TV
hour.
aerials. And it just announces you in. It's like, okay, all right, here we go.
But not every house.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's one without
Lord.
And then they look like us. Look up there.
Yeah, that's it. And then it opens up to Hugh Pugh, Briley McGrew.
On their salamander.
And that was it.
That was the worst explanation about nothing sets on fire now, so we just use the fire for another purpose. It was ridiculous.
Oh, I like that.
I like that. I think what I found was, I read the book a long time ago, and I was very excited when you recommended it, because I thought, I remember these themes from the book, it could be brilliant, forgetting that it was 1966.
Yeah.
And I was actually forced to go back and reread the book after watching it, because it just did not kind of... You really have to look for what it's trying to... I felt you really have to look for what Bradbury was trying to get to in his book, and the book is really clunkily written. It's not this beautiful poetic piece of literature. It's really clunky. All of the worst lines that we all laughed about you've missed the left-hand turn to the fire station, and did they used to burn things? Things out. All those random, just normal conversation arrive at a really weird dialogue piece are all just lift and shift from the book.
Yeah.
So those are Bradbury's fault. But the interesting thing for me was they've effectively stripped out almost all of the sci-fi element of it.
Okay.
Oh, see,
which I think
I loved it
because it was 66, and so some of them in the book, the firemen have a mechanical hound which they set off, and it sniffs out paper, and it's so at night when they're burning somebody else's house, the hound is off finding the next.
But bearing in mind, it was 10 years later when they first put Canine on the screen in Doctor Who.
Completely.
I don't know if they've ever, but I don't know would they ever be able to do that convincingly.
100% not.
Spray painted on station.
But the bit they did leave in, just the bit they did leave in was when Montag is on the run, and you see him kind of running through some woods. And he's running over a rail line, and then he runs down to a river, jumps in a boat, and pulls a tarpaulin over himself as four guys on jetpacks come across come over.
Yes, so badly done.
It's clearly four blokes just hung from a ceiling, but one of them can't seem to keep it going straight, and he's just kind of rotating around.
A video with Man with Flash Gordon.
Yeah,
and just see, setting. Did anyone notice? I think it was filmed in the Ollerton estate in Roehampton.
I was going to say, was that Roehampton?
Because we all
they're burning the books.
A few of us went to Roehampton University / Institute.
Yeah.
So I thought that was quite interesting as well. We say that there's no science fiction in it, and I'm just wondering for people around Britain and wherever else it may have been shown, if they would have thought that those estates looked like the future.
Yeah.
Because that would have been a really new thing at the time, I guess.
Well, it was, and it would have. I mean, that estate was.
And then there's the monorail from Paris in there as well that they use. And
so was that a real monorail?
So
I was trying to work out if they built it or not.
So it pre-existed.
Right.
I don't think did it serve?
No idea.
I don't think it served actual passengers. I think it was a French test facility.
We're talking about a really, really cool sort of hanging monorail thing that goes along, and I think it looks brilliant.
It does.
Looks
Also,
proper
they have things like flat screen TVs and stuff, which I was impressed with. So I thought that those bits were good. Sorry.
But when you're talking about the look of it and the sci-fi stuff of it, what I loved about it was almost a little bit understated. They didn't make it, albeit you did see quite a few shots of that hanging monorail, but there was just a sort of an understated feel about it. Probably because the landscape it's in It's quite grey. It's right next to this house that's really shoddy and obviously very fireproof, but looks pretty run down. Everything's a bit grey. It's all a bit England.
Yeah. And maybe in a world where nobody can read or write, it's like the technology wouldn't move very fast.
Yeah, maybe.
You know?
And then just that subtle, that way it just goes up
up
the
the pole.
fireman pond.
Yeah,
It's like, I love this. It's a real sort of
And it starts working for him.
sci-fi to it. Yeah, he starts reading, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, it did
As soon as
explain
he
why
starts
it's
reading, he can't go up and down the pole anymore.
Yeah.
It's like,
Why?
as if the pole can tell
Yeah.
you're not. You've got words in you. You can't use this.
Well, then
Yeah.
probably the pole had more sense of peril than anything else, because I didn't think there was any sense of peril or danger or...
Well, that's
it
what's
was
missing
just
from it. And I
left
seem to remember
alone.
in the book, as Montag starts changing, there's there's a bit of a sense of dread of being found out, of basically becoming a different person and being found out because of it, and actually becoming someone who's a bit more like us. So as you read it, you can identify with this person in this alien world that's being a bit paranoid about people finding out. And that doesn't really happen in this. Even when he's slating his wife's film group, or slating the ladies that get together to meet up, and reading to them, you feel, oh, right, yeah, okay, so he's going to get caught now. There's no real sense of, oh my God, this is going to go so wrong, they're going to find out.
And the weird thing is, you're absolutely right, the peril is completely absent, because even when people have found out, you kind of, you almost have to extrapolate the fact that actually it's illegal. You're going to be arrested, imprisoned, tortured, probably killed.
Yeah.
That's the reality of the situation. But you've got Beatty, who Cyril Cusack plays, the fire chief.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just there going, well, you see, Montag, every now and then, everybody has the problem. You read a book, it tells you lies, blah, 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 blah. We throw it in the incinerator.
Nobody can
We're all
agree on
fine.
anything. Yes.
And the reality, the end of that road is you're probably going to be killed for it. But that doesn't materialise. And in the book, Montag actually visits... you know the bit when all the firemen turn up to the playground?
Yeah.
And they're just walking through kind of knocking newspapers
Punching
and
babies.
punching babies. And you know he sees a guy, or he touches a guy's
And there's the book in there.
there's a bucket. There's a book in there. That is a character from the book called Faber, who's an old English literature teacher, and he is Montag's kind of conduit through that journey of.
Right.
But what if they're right? What if I'm right? And there's this.
You don't get that in the book, because he sees what happens. His wife has an overdose, and she gets all randy and suddenly fired up for some reason, which is not explained. So that's why obviously the book must be much better, and this film doesn't really do it. And then, like literally the next day, he's starting to read.
Yeah,
he's taking a book,
but he's actually got loads of books, so it's been happening for ages. But it's almost
but that's not explained either. Everywhere. What was that bit with the baby? What was the bit with the baby?
The baby with a tiny book in his
little
pocket.
book in his pocket, and they were like this sort of thing. It was like, what?
It's like comedy.
Well, it was like comedy, but it wasn't
finger at
comedy.
him.
I didn't think it was. I think it was a bit of a precursor, like a trial run of something like A Clockwork Orange, which really is quite sinister. Yeah. And it's the same character, it's the same actor in that.
Which one?
No.
The
guy
guy
that played Montag?
Yeah.
I don't
No,
know.
not Montag. The guy who plays the fire chief. He
Cyril
doesn't play.
Cusack.
He doesn't play the guy in Clockwork Orange. He's like his
like the
psychiatrist.
doctor.
Yeah.
I don't think so,
But it's
I
a
know
very
what you
similar
mean.
characterisation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just didn't think it was Sinister Storms, stuff like that, baby and stuff. And there's a bit with an encyclopedia. Someone smuggled an encyclopedia. Does anyone remember
I
that?
remember that bit. I dropped in and out of really giving too much.
Oh no, I really liked it. I liked the hats. I liked the fire hats they wore. He had another really nice leather hat.
It was a bit
That was
fetishistic
wicked.
at times.
His suit was wicked.
And can someone read? And how long would it take you to learn a book?
Become a book.
So
yeah.
just to clarify that, the end bit, this group of people out in the woods who have shunned this non-literate society to maintain. These books are so hard to come by that you join the group by bringing a book and then you learn it, then they burn the book so that the book is forever alive in you, and as you're about to die you force somebody else to learn it from you. Which I quite like as a concept.
It's not a terrible idea, but it's unpractical.
But it is, yeah. And they're all wandering around a glade while it's snowing,
reciting their books.
talking over each other.
Yeah. Nobody's
And
listening to anyone else.
they become
They just
the
know
name for
their
it. It's like I'm Watership Down.
Yeah.
But what we said at the beginning, though, it is interesting where we are now in life. You know, all this sort of X Factor stuff,
Yeah.
this sort of dumbing down. Music used to mean the world to the youth. We used to live and fight and die by music records, bands that we loved, fashion that we love. Now that's kind of gone. It's all gone now. So it was so precious. It is kind of this mush.
I think if you remade it now, you can make it into a really sinister looking.
I love
And
it.
HBO are making a TV version, I think, a TV movie
Great,
of it.
and I think that'll work. I think if you get the sense of threat, there was no threat, and I didn't like.
There was
the-
no threat,
I
you're
didn't
right.
like the character.
It's
It's
kind
okay.
of-
Let's run away and be a book.
Yeah.
You have to pick a really good book, though. You have to really make
I'd
a
pick
good
a short
decision.
book.
Am I right in saying HBO made Handmaid's Tale? It was them that made that.
Yeah,
Was that BBC with them?
Oh, was it?
I don't
Well,
know.
if they can get the same kind of menace,
they
in
made
that,
HBO certainly made the Hannibal
right? Okay.
series, which was
I think-
very popular.
I think they were
Little bit
responsible for
pretentious.
Handmaid's
In
Tale. If
my
they can get
house.
that, which is a similar kind of idea
Yeah,
of well, it's similar in that it's a dystopian future, very near future. If they can get the same kind of menace in that, then that would be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. And then it just changed the fire engine. That'll do the trick.
I love the fire engine as well.
Why do they all have to stand up when it's driving? You know, they just go over a
Because
bump
it
and they're
looks
all come bouncing off.
And funny.
Right, listen, I think we should wrap this up.
But sorry, just one other point. It put me in mind of Equilibrium, which is a much more recent film with Christian Bale and Sean Penn,
Okay.
which again is set in a dystopian future where emotion is banned because it causes conflict and everybody's unhappy. So everybody's taking drugs to suppress natural human emotion, and all art is banned. And you have these clerics who are rock hard ninjas and kind of have gun katas and stuff. And they basically just go around finding this stuff, burning it, and killing people who break the law. And that's a much more exciting.
Well, that's
thing.
it. That would be much more interesting.
Am I right in saying that's a Wachowski film? It's
You might be.
I think it's a sort of next thing after The Matrix that they did.
Is that right?
I think so. Yeah, I remember watching it and thinking it's not as good as The Matrix,
It's not as good as The Matrix.
but it is a good film.
But it is good. Yeah.
Like the Matrix 2 and the Matrix 3. They weren't as good as the Matrix, are they?
That's true. That's true.
And just before you wrap, because I do really like the book, I think it was, for me, it's if you look at what Ray Bradbury was writing about, and as Nico, as you've said, that kind of dumbing down of how we are entertained, let's not have to think about anything, let's just put something rubbish on TV and we'll all watch our brains kind of sludge out of our ears. You look at what we've got on TV, Real Housewives of Atlanta,
Yeah,
you know,
the
Towers.
Kardashians.
Television is
Keeping up with
dangerously
Kardashians.
dying.
But then in the same breath, we've got great other stuff as well, haven't we?
Yeah, but the other point is that his point is that this is not a government. The Fahrenheit 451 is not a government imposing these removal of literature. This is society voting with its feet and saying it's almost a kind of extreme liberalism where everybody's opinion is equally valid. So somebody stands up and goes, "I don't like that. It offends me. Don't do it." You go, "Fine. Well, let's burn that book. You don't like it." Somebody else stands up and goes, "Well, actually, I don't like that book that they do like. We'll burn that one as well." So we're all equally unhappy, but presenting ourselves in this manner. Well, we've taken all conflict away, so we're all really happy.
Do
But it
you
just doesn't work
reckon?
that way.
Do you reckon the fire chief has read some books?
Yeah,
He was
has.
going through that
He has.
shit saying Nietzsche.
Yeah.
The other thing, how would you
He's
build
read it.
anything? And people must read in order to build the
And they
fire
can
station.
all read as well. You know, the fact is, when he first picks up a book and starts reading it, okay, he reads really slowly and badly, and he has to run his finger along
Yeah.
a tale of
Yeah.
two cities or whatever it was he was reading. And it's like, how do you know this? Surely the first thing they'd do is
Yeah.
stop teaching
You'd
how to
have,
read and write.
you'd have to have an elite, a group of people who read the instructions for putting up the fire engine,
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
for a start. Anyway,
And for
right,
making
on.
kerosene,
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
they use to burn everything down.
Yeah.
Blue.
The monorail.
Yeah.
Right, come on then. Let's take a break and then we'll come back and score it, shall we?
Yeah.
Lighthouse.
All right, so we're back. We're going to score it. Who's going to go first this week?
I haven't thought of mine, so I'm going to think about it.
Okay, you went last week, so you should go first this week, Laurie.
Right, okay.
Out of 100.
For the sci-fi, I loved Montag. Julie Christie was kind of calling her to... Are they cloning in this world? I think they're cloning.
Yeah, it may well be that there are only... And I love the fact that he mentions, so what's your wife like? Oh, she's very much like you, only with long hair.
Yeah.
And then he gets home and it's like, oh my God, she really is very much like you with long hair.
I had exactly the same
Yeah.
So I'm going to... Oh, I liked it. I'm going to say 65.
65, wow.
Punchy.
All right. I had really high hopes, and I didn't mind like the campy element of all the colours and stuff at the start, but it just kept going down and down and down for me, really. So I'm going to give it 40. So there.
Well, I am going to give it 60, and the reason I'm going relatively high is because of the time that it was made in and what it must have been like to watch it at the time. And there were bits that I found a bit slow and dirgy, and bits that kind of made me laugh, not in a good way, at it rather than with it. But on the whole, it made a point that was worth making, and it was a relatively enjoyable watch.
All right, Wyndham.
Interesting. So I thought the script was dire.
Yes.
I thought the casting was pretty shoddy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was no chemistry in that film anywhere to be seen.
I like that.
I thought
It's one of its plus
I
points.
thought the kind of the highlight for me because I had such fond memories of the book.
Yes.
And I thought it made you work a little bit too hard. No, maybe not too hard, but it just didn't work for me at all. But it gets points for having been filmed on the Alton estate,
Yes.
just up the road.
Yeah.
Gets points for that, and it gets points for its very cool underslung monorail. But I actually went back to the scores I've given for the previous two films, and in some vain attempt to have a benchmark.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking, do I think it's worse than In the Mouth of Madness? And I do think it's worse than In the Mouth of Madness. But I gave In the Mouth of Madness a really low score.
He was angry. He was hot after it. He
So-
just scored it straight after watching it.
So I'm a bit confused whether I
Go with your guts, bro.
scratch my... I may have to apologise to In the Mouth of Madness, but it's still a low score, but it's not quite as low as In the Mouth of Madness. I think I was overly harsh on that. I'm giving it 20.
20. Oh my gosh.
Just out of curiosity, what did you give In the Mouth of Madness?
15.
Or in the I think I say this every
That is
fucking
really
podcast.
All
Just
right.
a quick shout out to say there's a young Nicholas Rogue who is the director of photography on this film. So Nicholas Rogue is Don't Look Now,
Man
Okay.
Who Fell to Earth.
Man Who Fell to
Yeah.
Earth, Eureka, Walkabout, great performance.
So we got a lot
Riches.
better.
Well,
Right.
I like it. I
Okay,
like
right.
it.
So the scores are in. It gets 46.3%, which basically puts it above In the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah, for now until we actually do the
But
proper
below
maths
Crash.
next week. And
It is proper. Leave it alone. So it's number 2 on our leaderboard, but there's only 3 on the leaderboard, so it doesn't stand for much.
right.
Right. Oh, God. Laurie, I think it's your pick next week, and I'm really...
Can I just say, when
Slightly nervous
I
about this.
dropped Fahrenheit 451 round to
Yeah.
Laurie, I did suggest, having had a conversation with you previously, James, that we might skip Laurie's turn, but I'm glad to see that you're going to stick with it.
Well, no, wait for it, because for me, this is a double-edged sword, because I have to pick, like, one of you lots.
Right, possibly. I want to say they're not all years. If we don't get a year, then we're going to do things a little bit differently.
Ooh.
So let me look. You won't
So
get
if you
picked,
don't like my choice, we can just change it.
but we'll see.
I'll try and go easy. Look,
But I want
Crash,
to a little
I know,
bit.
we've got a bit
had
of a
some
rap on
odd
Crash.
films.
But,
All
you know,
right.
with the movie Lighthouse, it's about, pointing out films that you would not normally go and see.
Yeah.
We feel like actually
We-
come
Well,
out
we're telling
and have a
people
look
not
at
to
it.
see
We
it at the
should've-
moment, aren't we?
Yeah.
Right, choose a number. Okay, and also there are now once again the right amount of balls in there.
100 balls.
90 balls.
You said there weren't the right amount of
No,
balls?
there were the right amount of balls, but as I was taking balls out, instead I have replaced them with a different category. So if anyone has got a category that they'd like to put forward, please do, and I will stick it on our board if it's any good.
Please
Okay.
write in.
Right, so
So Laurie is now rummaging in James's ball bag of wonder.
I'm going deep.
go on. That's it.
That's what I've heard about you.
Nico, look at me. I want to.
Go for your life. Right, what you got?
I've got either 60... Oh, no, it's definitely 61.
61.
61.
Is this 2001?
Don't make us go back to 1961, please.
No, we're in 1963.
Oh,
Lord!
Come on. Oh, come on, this is a really,
Right.
fruitful time. Don't worry.
1963. Tom, what is it?
Just to mention, Crash
Okay.
is actually a really funny film. It is funny.
Right, we'll be back in a minute with
Right.
our choices. Oh,
Films of
my Lord.
1963.
Lighthouse.
And then we did.
All right, we're back. We've got our choices. Okay,
Yeah.
so who wants to go first? We should try and do this in a fair order.
Can I go first?
No. We,
What, a film that you chose for you to
you
choose?
don't get to choose.
There's some crackers.
Tough. Nico, go on.
I'm going to go for Day of the Triffids. The classic invasion from outer space kind of story, only with man-eating plants on the rampage.
Based on a novel by John Wyndham.
Yes.
But yes, it is Wyndham.
Wyndham.
Absolutely.
Wyndham, what are you going to choose?
I am going to go for Blood Feast. Right? It's an American splatter film.
Yeah.
It concerns a psychopathic food caterer who kills women to include their body parts in his meals.
Yeah.
And it is considered the first splatter movie.
Is that a Herschel?
Wow.
It is Herschel Gordon Lewis.
Herschel Gordon Lewis.
Yeah.
God, Triffids sounds so tame compared to that.
I've got two choices. I don't know which one to choose.
Say them both. Come on.
No, I'm not.
Treat
no,
yourself.
No, because the rules are there for a reason, Laurie. Not to be broken. I'm going to go for The Birds. Hitchcock classic.
Mate.
There's just going to be so much to talk about with that. So that's my choice. So, Laurie, what are you going to go for?
I
This is
know
It's a
what you're
rich
going to
year,
choose.
actually.
I
I'm
know what
impressed
you're
with
going
this
to
year.
choose.
I think genuinely at this point, because you've just had a quick look at what's going
We'll
on.
talk
What
about
else
the other
is there?
films next time.
And
So
you
let's
can-
talk
you
about
can-
it now.
No,
People will be
because
screaming
we're
out.
going to talk about it next time.
And you can clearly tell that we couldn't be bothered to get past D.
Right, come on. Which one? Day of the Triffids, Blood Feast, or The Birds? What's it going to be?
Oh, I'm not going to go Blood Feast because I know Herschel and I love
Oh,
Herschel.
I'm sure you were going to choose that. I was absolutely
He makes an odd film.
Right, come on in.
Oh, do I go with the birds? Oh, yeah. Oh, do I go Herschel?
Right, you've got to hurry up.
Oh,
Oh, come
This
on!
is
It's
the
not
James
easy.
Dean.
This is the tough one. But should we give you a
Just a
countdown?
bit, if I don't say hurry up, we'll be here for about 20 minutes. He'll review all three.
And then pick a fourth.
Yeah, choose a film.
Blood Feast.
So if you want to join in at home, somehow try and find this film. I can't believe we could have gone a little bit mainstream and you've gone
But
for
that's not
Blood
what we're
Feast.
after, is it?
No, it's fine. This is the choice. Blood Feast. Right, okay. Can I have David Triffids? Can I have The Birds? And you go for Blood Feast. Wyndham off. Right, great.
So say the birds then.
No.
And it's available from a very well-known internet marketplace.
Brilliant.
Ah, brilliant. Right,
Is that
so
Yeah.
just before we go.
Yeah. Oh, that. Is that?
Yeah.
We're not the BBC. You are allowed to
Oh
say
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, say it because they might send us
It's
stuff.
on Amazon. For how
Doubtful.
much?
Oh, I didn't bother getting that far.
Okay, I should imagine it'd be very, very cheap.
Okay, can I just say that if you are listening to us and you are partially enjoying it, or even a little bit more than partially, then please rate and review us on iTunes. We're doing quite well at the moment. We've got 5-star rating.
Yeah, and I tell you what, a lot of the guys go out and buy these random films that unfortunately are being picked. So, if you want to write in, you want to get a copy, we might have a spare
No,
copy
we're not going to send out copies of films. We're not doing that.
Why
We are
not?
not sending you a copy of a film. But you can write in and tell us what you thought of the film. We are not a distribution service. No.
Good anecdote.
No,
Right,
if
I'll
sorry,
give it you.
No. If you want to contact Laurie privately
Okay.
to set up his film review, then that's fine. But no, we're not doing that at all.
Oh, okay.
But we are on Twitter. We are on Facebook. And you can email us at themovielighthouse@gmail.com.
I have to say, James, it makes me come over all queasy when you get all strict and firm like that. Ooh.
Gotta have the rules. Anyway, that's it. Right, we'll see you all next time. I've been James.
I still am, Nico.
Yeah, likewise, I'm still Wyndham.
Yeah, I'm Laurie.
I'll
Yeah.
See you next time.
Beautiful.
Bye.
Thanks very much.
I
Bye.
apologise for that.
Very good.
That was good.
Job well done, everybody.
Fuck, I just couldn't. It was you. You said, no, I thought you'd go for that. I was like, oh, you're right. That will be odd. I know what that
You,
was.
you shouldn't let him influence you. This was a chance for it to break into the mainstream.
But again,
Yeah.
it was probably going to be
I'm really
the
glad
birds,
I-
just tip into the birds.
We're just gonna.
As soon as I heard
it's
that,
going to
I
be
was really
another
glad
film
that
where
you
we're
picked
all
either
going to
of
think.
ours. Two really ordinary movies that everyone knows, or the weirdest.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine when that was made at the time, and nobody had seen a splatter horror before?
Yeah.
You know, it'd be, the blood, it's on the screen. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be brilliant
He's
or
done-
terrible.
It's going to be
I've
terrible.
only ever seen it
It's absolutely going to be terrible.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness some scenes from the next attraction to play this theater. This picture, truly one of the most unusual ever filmed, contains scenes which under no circumstances should be viewed by anyone with a heart condition or anyone who is easily upset. We urgently recommend that if you are such a person or the parent of a young or impressionable child now in attendance, that you and the child leave the auditorium for the next 90 seconds.